all cruise long. All right, our next performer coming up on stage, you've definitely seen him around. He definitely likes to crack the jokes here and now. You'll hear him in bingo. But I'd like to introduce Erky, all the way from Turkey. He will be doing a comedy skit for you. Make him feel welcome. All right. Take it away, Erky.
Wow, all right. Well, good evening, everybody. Did you miss me? Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome. Now I'm going to tell you a little bit story about myself and my life story. Actually, I keep it short for you. First of all, now I want to tell you, you know what, actually, did you like my jacket tonight? Do you know where did I get it from? Lionel Richie. Yeah, I told him a joke. He said, my jokes are terrible, leave me alone. He gave me his jacket. Do I look like Lionel Richie? No? Okay, I'll try to do different things and things next time. Anyway, now, ladies and gentlemen, you know what? When I was 10 years old and I started studying English, my English was terrible. But I told my friends, I said, I speak really good English. They didn't believe me. And one day we went to the cafeteria in the touristic area, and my friend turns to me and says, Erky, you always telling us you speak really good English. He says, can you prove it? I said, what you want me to do? He said, you see those tourists sitting in that table, other corner? He says, can you call them to our table? I said, no problem. I remember 3 words. I said, come here, please. And they came to our table. My friend was really impressed. He turns to me and says, Erky, I need you to do one more thing, and if you do that, I will buy whatever you like to have here. I said, what is it? He said, can you send them back to their table? I said, no problem, but I couldn't remember a word. So what did I do? I moved to their table and I said, come here, please. I'm a very clever person. And you know what, after that, of course, and 6 years later, I started driving around. So I was driving my car in the highway, and the cops, they were doing the highway check. One of them stops me on the road, and he says, sir, we've been standing here for 2 hours, and you are the first gentleman we've seen so far wearing a safety belt. He said, we want to reward you with 5,000 Turkish lira. I was so excited. This officer goes and comes back to me and says, Mr. Erky, what you going to do with the 5,000 Turkish lira? I said, I'm going to get a driver license. Oh, man, that was crazy. And after a few years later, you know, when my English was improving, of course, it was better than that time, you know, and the cafeteria story. Anyway, then I applied for Royal Caribbean, and they gave me a job. The very first time I left my country in Turkey, it was the first time I was flying out of Turkey. And I fly to the Miami airport, all right? When I arrived at the airport, I saw the sign, says, baby changing room. I never seen anything like that before in my life. So I was in the immigration, and I asked the immigration officer, I said, excuse me, sir, why is the Americans exchanging babies? He was laughing so hard, he just stamped my passport, and I'm already here. I come from a very poor family, I gotta tell you. When I was 10 years old, I fell down from the bicycle and I hurt my leg. And my mom, she didn't have any money to take me to the hospital to get an x-ray. Instead of hospital, she took me to the airport and put me into the x-ray machines. That's why I'm like this. You know what, I enjoy the States. Actually, I've been so many places in the States, and my favorite place in the States is called Hooters. I love it. I love the medium spicy shrimps. Delicious. Tastes like chicken. And you know, last week I was going to Target, but I missed. Then I said, I'm going to go to the Walmart. I love Walmart. You know what? You know why? Because you go to the Walmart, you buy the things you don't even need. Because it's only $9.99. So you got to buy something. I'm not that stupid, let me tell you that, all right? You know what, folks? One day I'm going to build my own ship. When I build my own ship, and I won't build any elevators, there will be only escalators. The reason for that, escalator never breaks. They can only become stairs. You're never going to see the sign says escalator temporary out of order. Only thing you're going to see is escalator temporary stairs. Sorry for the convenience. So I will avoid all the complaints right there. And you know, of course, when I build my own ship, and I will be the captain of that ship. And when I be a captain, my announcements will be totally different. It's going to be something like this. Ding, ding. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. This is your captain speaking from the toilet. I just had a hot Mexican food last night. So we're not going anywhere. Oh my God. Imagine that, eh? Last week I was feeling so lonely, so I bought myself a parrot. Parrot talked, but he did not say I'm hungry, so he died. Then I eat him later. Tastes like chicken too. How is your stateroom attendance so far? Are they good? Wonderful. Did you enjoy those little towel animals in your stateroom? You like them? I hate them. You know why? One day I was drunk and I walked into my stateroom. I opened the bathroom door. There was a monkey hanging on my wall. That was the scariest thing I have ever seen. I punched the monkey. It became a chicken. Oh man, you know what? My stateroom attendant is absolutely crazy. I think he's been at sea too long. Last week, 3 a.m. in the morning, someone is knocking my door. I said, who's that? He said, stateroom attendant. I said, what you want? He said, you want to come in and clean up. I said, come on in. He came in, took a shower and left. Oh, crazy man. You're lucky your stateroom attendant is not like mine. You know, my stateroom is so big, I gotta tell you, I got a very big stateroom. I got jacuzzi and all kind of stuff. Another day I went to the bathroom, accidentally I sneezed, I broke the mirror, took a shower and flushed the toilet at the same time. Imagine how big it is. Oh, excuse me. I'm still coughing because last week I was coughing a little bit bad. And then I went to the doctor. I said, doctor, I'm coughing. Can you help me? He helped me out. He gave me 2 boxes of laxatives. I said, doctor, don't get me wrong, but how come 2 boxes of laxatives going to help my cough? He said, you know what, Erky? You will be too afraid to cough. So I stopped coughing right away. Very nice. You know, I gotta tell you something. Last night of your cruise, and make sure you put your suitcase outside your stateroom. You know the reason? I'm going to do shopping. I call it duty-free shopping. I don't know what duty means, but it's free. Let's go shopping. Oh my God, I have a question for you. Do you know what is the difference between beer nuts and the deer nuts? Ask me what? Ask me like you really want to know what. Beer nuts are $1.50, deer nuts are under $1. I love that joke. Check this out. If you want to see me after the show, I'll be surprised. Ladies and gentlemen, I got one more story to tell you. This is my final one. Once again, I just want to say thank you for being wonderful here, and thank you very much. We hope you had a good time with us. We got, of course, 2 more days to go. Tomorrow, Grand Cayman, and the day after is at sea. So once again, I just want to say thank you. It's been an absolute pleasure. And now, here's my last story goes on. This is about a farmer who has 3 daughters. All right, one day he's at home, there's a knock on the door. Farmer opens the door and the guy says, hi, my name is Joe. I'm here for Flo. We are going to the show. Is she ready to go? Off they go. 30 minutes later, another knock on the door. Farmer opens the door and the guy says, hi, my name is Eddie. I'm here for Betty. We are going for spaghetti. Is she ready? Off they go. 30 minutes later, another knock on the door. Farmer opens the door and the guy says, hi, my name is Chuck. And farmer shot him. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. Have a great night. We'll see you around. Take care.
Ladies and gentlemen, Erky from